So Sarah Hurwitz just did us all a favor. She said what they usually save for encrypted donor calls, except she said it into a microphone at a Jewish Federation panel. Obama's former speechwriter, the woman who gave Michelle when they go low, we go high, standing there complaining that young people are getting news from, quote, sources we don't control.
But today, we have social media, which is a global medium, shaped by billions of people worldwide who don't really love Jews. And so while in the 1990s, a young person probably wasn't going to find Al Jazeera or someone like Nick Fuentes, today those media outlets find them. They find them on their phones.
Her actual problem, they're seeing the carnage in Gaza. That's the problem for her. Not the carnage, the seeing. She later reminisces on the good old days, when gatekeepers at the Times, the Post, CNN, explained to people what's going on. Translation, when a handful of friendly outlets could wrap state violence in focus group euphemisms. Surgical strike, tragic necessity, security operation. Now teenagers are scrolling past the spin. No 24/7 panels to contextualize the corpses.
The truth is, Israel should have never left Gaza because before 2005, we did not have a terrorist state. We had a booming economy. We had equality.
No commercial break to reset our emotions. Just reality, unfiltered. This is the panic of a class that built their careers on script-written presidents, now suddenly realizing the script doesn't control the movie anymore. And for someone who spent decades crafting the perfect euphemism for state violence, this isn't a moral crisis. This is a PR emergency. Hurwitz says Holocaust education has backfired because kids are looking at those lessons and concluding, oh, the Palestinians are the victims here, just like the Jews were. But then she spells out the problem.
And, I think, unfortunately, the very smart, bet that we made on Holocaust education to serve as anti-Semitism education, in this new media environment, I think that is beginning to break down a little bit. Because Holocaust education is absolutely essential, but I think it may be confusing some of our young people about anti-Semitism because they learn about big, strong Nazis hurting weak, emaciated Jews. And they think, oh, anti-Semitism is like anti-black racism, right? Powerful white people against powerless black people.
The lesson of the Holocaust is you fight the big, powerful people hurting the weak people. She's not upset that Holocaust education failed. She's upset it worked. Kids saw the ghettos, the camps, the systematic dehumanization, and their brains did what functioning brains do. They recognized the pattern. Power, crushing the powerless. The architecture of ethnic cleansing. They connected Warsaw in 1943 to Gaza, but to Hurwitz, that's not moral clarity. That's just a messaging error. But it gets worse. She complains that never again has been corrupted. It used to be exclusive to Jews. Now, never again somehow means to anyone. And she admits that's a problem for some reason. You see, because Sarah Hurwitz, just like many others, are treating the Holocaust like it's trademark, like it's intellectual property, as if the worst crime of the 20th century was meant to secure an eternal carve-out one people, not a universal red line for humanity. In her framing, empathy itself has backfired. The ability to see a Palestinian child under rubble and instinctively connected to a Jewish child in Warsaw, Poland, that's not human decency functioning correctly. To Sarah Hurwitz, that's a brand dilution problem. Now, Hurwitz isn't some outlier. She's the type. She's part of the speechwriter consultant industrial complex. These are people trained to sell war like toothpaste. They don't ask, is this policy moral? They ask, what's the narrative? What polls well? What's the focus group phrase that neutralizes the blood? So when she talks about
very smart that we made on Holocaust education to serve as anti-Semitism education,
she's talking like a brand strategist, not a humanitarian. And she just admitted that the goal was never shared humanity. The goal was building a shield. Because if anti-Semitism is evil, which it is, and if criticizing Israel equals anti-Semitism, which it doesn't, then criticizing Israel becomes unspeakable. That's the goal. So while Gaza was being flattened for 2 years, municipalities all across America found an urgent need for Holocaust curricula. Millions in funding, all mysteriously designed to blur the line between opposing a state and hating a people. Same logic as anti-BDS laws, campus speech codes, calling Columbia kids terrorists for pitching tents. It's Zionism as a state-enforced cult-like ideology. It's conformity backed by law, funding, and institutional capture. And yes, this reflects on Obama too. This is who he trusted to put words in his mouth about justice, history, morality. Kind of explains the silence now, doesn't it? But honestly, Sarah Hurwitz did us a favor. She stripped away the liberal veneer, the West Wing varnish, and she just said it. The problem isn't genocide. The problem is that we can see it, that we can name it, that we can compare it to the last time people said never again, but apparently meant it conditionally. Because here's what Sarah Hurwitz doesn't understand. You can't focus group dead children. You can't message test ethnic cleansing. And if never again doesn't apply to Gaza, then it was only marketing to begin with.